Hello, peoples. It's his little Cherie. And I was thinking this morning about a conversation that my daughter and I had recently. I was saying how concerned I am about some of the things that are going on in our world and just how bad it's getting. I was thinking, there are things that 50 years ago would have been unthinkable, but they're normal now. And I'm just worried that 50 years from now, what is unthinkable will be normal. Everything escalates. And so I was saying to Joy, I'm worried about the escalation of evil in our world. And she was disagreeing, which she has every right to do. She's a 22-year-old university student, so she has a very different perspective from her mom. And she was saying, no, Mom, the world is getting better. It's actually a myth that things are getting worse. Every generation thinks things are getting worse, but it's just because things are changing. And in fact, things are getting better. Divorce rate is down. I can't remember all the things she listed, but she was saying a lot of things are actually getting better. And she's right. I agree that there are a lot of things that are getting better. Look at medical science, for instance. I'm amazed at what is possible these days. A 3-month-old baby that I know is having open heart surgery in a few days to repair a hole in her heart. That's incredible. I mean, doctors can safely separate conjoined twins. It's just incredible what medical science has achieved and is able to do these days. Globalization has improved a lot of things in the world. I watched a YouTube video recently where a couple adopted a special needs child from an orphanage in China. That's amazing. And it's amazing that those of us who are so wealthy here in the West can contribute money to help people suffering because of drought in Sudan. It is a wonderful world, and there are incredible things that are going on. But at the same time, I recently visited a website for abortion survivors. My grandparents couldn't even imagine such a thing. I saw something recently about a European country who had basically eliminated Down syndrome from their population through abortion. You can terminate your pregnancy for any reason. If it's not a boy, you can have an abortion. If the baby has Down syndrome, you can have an abortion. I'm sorry, I cringe. This is just my personal cringe that's happening right now. But I know beautiful people who deserve to live, who are not given that opportunity simply because they're not the right gender or they have special needs. It seems wrong to me. Again, that's my personal opinion. I also know that if you have enough money, you can travel to Thailand and have sex with a 5-year-old boy. I also know that you can have sex with a child here in my own city if you can pay for it. I know that human trafficking around the world is exploding. There are more slaves now than ever before in human history, most of them sex slaves. So is the world getting better or worse? I think the answer is yes. And I personally, as a Christian, think there's only one hope for humanity, and that's God. His power to transform us, to redeem us, because I believe that our default is selfishness. And I see that in myself. I can only speak for myself, really. And from the time I was a toddler, I have been bent on what I want, regardless of how it affects others. And I fight against that default constantly. And I believe that's the sin nature that we have. I also believe that we are made in the image of God and we're capable of incredible good. But I think ultimately God is our only hope. That is my personal opinion. So I love my kids. They're smarter and more articulate than I'll ever be. But I'm choosing to cling to God as my only hope and the only hope for our planet and our species. That's it for now. Thanks for listening to my rant. Bye-bye.